Okay guys, I'm here today with Andrew. It's a huge honor for me. Guys, Andrew from the Daisy Fresh school that everybody's talking about. And guys, today Andrew just shot an entire instruction all about his side control attacks and his sequence from side control. And it's coming out really, really good. And it was a very fun conversation here because all the stuff that he does is stuff that I love too. That involves a lot of lapel attacks, front side control. And then if that doesn't work, he goes to the mounts and this and that. So I'm super excited to learn from him. And he's gonna show us here one of his favorite attacks from there using the lapel. So let's do that, Andrew.
Okay, so first off, I didn't just steal this from Bernardo Faria. I'm showing my thought process.
You might wonder if I stolen that from me. You did.
Like how I like to progress, and one of my favorite submission series that I've kind of been doing since I was a blue belt. I focus on holding a more square side control, and then I really heavily prioritize keeping this arm isolated. And it's such a priority for me that even if they are fighting me on this battle, I'll do a lot of different things, like using my knee as a wedge to re-isolate this arm. Because if I have this arm isolated, it makes all of my attacks easier, my step over triangle arm bars, my transitions to mount. It's harder for him to start to shrimp and escape. So even after I isolate, I heavily prioritize pinching this off to the point where even if he tries to get it back down, which they will, this is a battle you should fight. You shouldn't just give this up for free. Again, it's a combination of pinch pressure, pull-up pressure, hip forward pressure that keeps this isolated, okay? Now, I can be here, I can be here, I can be here. Whatever's going on, I want to be able to hunker down in a side control he can't get away from, okay? Because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this lapel and I'm going to pull it out at an angle, okay? I don't just pull up because it's very easier for him to block me pulling up, but it's a lot harder for him to block me pulling out at like a 45-degree angle. And if I pull to the side, I don't get the rest of the lapel out very well. So I pull up until I have enough that I can now start to chase his arm around with, okay? And now when I do this, I don't want to have a flat lapel like this where I trap the whole arm. I want to have a more bunched up, ropey type lapel. I might even twist it a couple times because now the thing is he can try to hide his arm as much as he wants. I can chase this, and as long as I can catch anywhere from like here up, I can pin this down. Even if he tries, like go ahead and move your arm around a little bit, I can chase that around very easily. Okay, and I don't lose anything by trying to do this. It's not like I'm going for an armbar and I lose it, he gets on top of me. There's just no real reason not to do this. Because once I get this fed to my other hand and I get this decently tight, this now replaces my pec grip in terms of keeping his shoulder isolated and pulled up into me, which now lets me progress to controlling his hips safely with my other arm, maybe going at half knee on belly, whatever you like to do, go to mount. I like to do, I call it the Super Ezekiel from here, okay? So this is the submission that I'm going to show. It's one of my favorite submissions from side control. What I'm looking for is the reaction where he wants to pull his hand out. Okay, now if I keep this too tight, he can't pull it out. Okay, but I want him to pull it out. So what I do is I kind of block his arm for a little bit as I give him a little more of an arch by moving my hand closer. So now he feels he can pull his hand all the way out. Okay, so okay, just like start pulling your hand out here, like this way. Yep, you see I give him that, go ahead, pull it all the way out. I want them to pull it out, so I give them that arch where they can, okay? And if they won't, then I can start to punish him by threatening wrist locks and other stuff from here that makes him not feel safe here anymore, to where he will, if I give him the slack, pull his hand out. Now, as soon as his hand starts to clear, mine starts to go in, and in one motion, I go all the way across to the other side of his neck, and I make sure I turn my hand, so I'm using the blade of either a fist or a stiff arm on this side of the artery. Okay, now I retighten this up. Okay, now you can put some choke pressure down right now, but if I really want to make it tight, I transition to the knee on belly, all the way up, and now because I'm up, okay, I'm not going to do this too hard, I'm going to loosen this up. I can use my back as the leverage, okay? Now the actual choke itself, it feels like you could cut their head off, okay, so it's here. And remember, the most important part of any choke is eye contact, and you can get a lot of eye contact right here. Okay, I can make sure they know what's happening, or I can look at their friends and family in the crowd. That's incredible. So it's a very tight choke. It's the kind of choke where even if he rolled me over right now, which I wouldn't let happen in a match, I am now able to finish this from here. Okay, so once you get it in, you kind of like fully commit to it. Okay, and just to show a sneaky way of doing this, okay, I like to do this to people that are really giving me a good resistance from here. I'll get this trapped, and I'll use the fact that this is trapped so I can control his hips a little better. I know I can step straight to mount with my foot without him being able to punish me, okay? Now I can do this from mount, and say he won't pull his arm out. I'll keep his arm close to his body by feeding it to this hand, getting the lapel ready, And now I'll line my knee up with my elbow and pin this arm down with the lapel in an area that I can easily get access to it, okay? Because what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to step on his bicep.
Man, that's incredible.
For just long enough to feed this across. So it's 1, 2, back down, okay? Now, he doesn't have really any options to block it. It's already in. I could finish it here, but there's no need. This is just kind of showing off, okay? But this is a legitimate block, just so I can do this without having any interference, okay? All the way across, all the way back down, and again, the more I square up, the easier it is for me to pull my shoulder back, the more I can take my back into this and really try to drive this into that artery, and this side is cutting off this artery, so it's here. So
Man, that's amazing.
The Super Ezekiel.
No, that's it. So you call it the Super Ezekiel?
Yeah, these regular Ezekiels, they're great. I use them all the time, but they can be rougher on your hands, and it really takes conditioning your grips, and they'll hurt afterwards. This one, it just goes into your forearm, so there's no.
But that's true, because many times when I do the Ezekiel, I really feel like my fingers, and if the person doesn't start hurting even more.
Who's getting hurt more right now? My fingers or your neck?
Yeah. Oh, Andrew, and I love it how you put the knee on belly to create even more leverage where you can squeeze even more. And the other thing that I noticed that you do as well, that I have never done and I can't wait to try, it's like how you twist the lapel over here.
Yeah, then it makes it like more of a trap.
Yeah.
Specifically, just to talk about where I trap, I can initially trap lower and get his arm trapped, but when I get lower, I'll work it up higher. So I have more leverage up here.
I got it.
And the closer to the end of his wrist it is, the more he wants to pull it out.
Got it.
And the more punishing any kind of attempted wrist lock will be, because it'll bend at the point of contact.
Yeah, that's the other thing I would say as well. Like, I love it how you attempt the wrist lock. If you feel that I'm defending well, you start trying with the wrist lock.
I'll finish the wrist lock, and I finish them all the time. But the Super Ezekiel is my A, the wrist lock would be my B, and then I can use it to set up other stuff.
So Andrew, just one more time, the full move here, like without stopping. So
here, chasing this around, no matter where it goes, I adjust the hips, because when his hips are turned away, I can knee on belly safely, okay? And like I said, I'm threatening stuff here, I'm giving him some slack, he goes out, I come back in all the way across, I can start to finish here, transition up, and really finish it.
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. Andrew, and I really love it, like how you have the whole sequence. You know, because I'm a huge believer that in Jiu-Jitsu, if you don't have the sequence, sooner or later your opponents will be able to stop, because you need the next one, the next one, the next one. And I love your Jiu-Jitsu because everything you teach, you have the A to Z over there. I can keep
I like to think in terms of like hard counters and soft counters. A soft counter is something that if you just put more force into it, or you apply more pressure, or you were a little bit ahead of your timing, you can kind of go through a soft counter. A hard counter is something they do that completely shuts down the move that I'm trying to go for. And then how do I transition from him hard countering me to a hard counter to his hard counter? So I like to try to go down the route of what is the most optimal and efficient.
Got it, man, that's amazing. Yeah, so guys, Andrew just shot this entire instruction all about his side control attacks and his whole sequence from there. And it's coming out really, really good. And it's going to be at BJJFanatics.com soon, so make sure to check that out. And maybe by the time you're watching, it's already there. So thanks so much, Andrew. It was awesome. Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.